The gay pride flag, instead of the thin blue line flag, is lowered to half staff in honor of an officer killed in the line of duty. Can you believe the disrespect in that? A Republican member of the Wethersfield, Connecticut Town Council had wanted it to be the thin blue line flag, but he was overruled by his Democrat colleagues on the council and by the town's own Democrat mayor, who said the flag now represents white supremacy, right-wingers, and hate. You know the drill by now. But you know what I, as a Christian, find hateful? That pride flag, representing one of the 7 deadly sins, and for the anti-Christian bigotry it necessarily entails. But of course, in the global homo empire we have, of which the pride flag is the symbol of, as our State Department raises it the world over, my beliefs as a Christian are not even worthy of notice. And you know who also ranks dead last on that totem pole next to white men, straight people, Christians, and patriots? Cops. The cop in this case was fatally struck on the side of the road while conducting an unrelated traffic stop when a guy high as a kite and with a criminal rap sheet a mile long swerved into him and then continued driving down the road in a hit and run until his inebriated state caught up with him too much and other drivers were able to flag him down. The suspect, Alex Oyola Sanchez, admitted to cops that he had been using fentanyl, powdered cocaine, and a Klonopin pill before getting behind the wheel. He was driving without a license, and this local news article explains, quote, he had been arrested last September for possessing a controlled substance, but the case was dropped. He'd also been convicted in 2007 of third-degree murder and was sentenced to 6 years in prison, but it's unclear how long he served. A year later, he was charged with 3 counts of attempted homicide. The court did not know if he served time for those crimes, end quote. The trooper leaves behind a wife and 2 young children. So from law enforcement to fire, a Christian lifeguard captain with the Los Angeles County Fire Department in California is fighting back against such sacrilege. Captain Jeffrey Little was initially granted a religious exemption accommodation against raising the Progress pride flag as mandated by the county during June. But that initial exemption was later revoked, and the retaliation and harassment began from his supervisors, one of whom told Captain Little that you are an LA County employee. That's the only thing that matters. Your religious beliefs do not matter, end quote. Since filing his federal lawsuit, the county has granted him another partial concession, but it leaves much to be desired, and so the legal battle rages on. Joining us now to discuss is his lawyer, Paul Jonah, special counsel for the Thomas More Society and a partner at LaMandry and Jonah LLP. Paul, thanks for being here tonight.
Great to be with you. Thanks for having me, Tara.
Great. So thanks to your efforts, Captain Little does have a partial exemption now. What does it exempt him from? But more importantly, what does it not exempt him from? Because that seems to be the sticking point.
Sure. So as a captain, he's required to raise and lower the pride flag and to enforce compliance with this mandate on his subordinates. He's been serving LA County for 22 years, has an exemplary track record. This issue came up last year, and as you noted, they gave him a partial accommodation. He showed up the next day at work a couple days later, and they, to his surprise, kind of revoked his accommodation, and he was the subject of harassment, retaliation, an internal investigation, and he was trying to negotiate how to address this issue in 2024, and they basically stonewalled him. They ignored him. And it wasn't until we filed this federal lawsuit that finally they started attempting to take steps in the right direction. What they've said to him so far is that you're not going to be responsible for raising or lowering the flag. We're going to have other people do it at certain beaches that you work at. And then on the ones that we can't remove the flag, you're going to have to we're going to let you switch shifts. And so it's not a permanent solution. It's a very temporary solution. He still has to enforce compliance with the mandate on his subordinates, which he can't do in good conscience, and he has to renew the request every year. So it's really not a long-term workable solution. So the case will go on, and we'll have to ultimately seek a preliminary injunction against the county.